Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Now, the Royal Bank of Scotland has reported losses of more than £2 billion for the first 6 months of this year. That's ballooned from 179 million 12 months ago. The bank blames the unexpectedly high figure on the cost of resolving historic issues, with £1.3 billion paid out in PPI and legal fees. The lender, which is 74% owned by the taxpayer, hasn't made a profit since 2007. Earlier, I spoke to the chief executive of RBS, Ross McEwan. I began by asking him why the bank hadn't yet passed on to customers the historic interest rate cut announced by the Bank of England yesterday.
Our review of our standard variable rate will happen next week. We have a standard process because remember these moves also affect those who have lent us money, either the savers who have been knocked around probably for the last 6 or 7 years of low interest rates. And if you also have a look at lending, about 80% of our lending is done on a fixed rate. So as they roll off, people will get the new rates based on the new fixed rate at the time.
But you're in no hurry. Mark Carney said you should be writing to your customers saying you're implementing this interest rate cut. Interest rates at 0.25%, your standard variable rate 4%. That's a massive gulf.
It's interesting when you have a look at the standard variable rate. We've had one of the lowest standard variable rates in the marketplace.
Sure, but it's considerably higher than the base rate.
Also what you've seen is those who have actually moved and still haven't moved down to a 4%. They're under review.
You say in your results that uncertainty over the EU referendum, following that referendum, could adversely impact on the business, and you've warned particularly about the ability to hire and retain staff. What impact are you already seeing?
We see it from the impact on Brexit from our customers' eyes. So we've seen so far mortgage applications have come down about 14%. We've seen actually interesting on the commercial side, which is the mid-sized business market, not much change at all. The applications coming through our relationship managers are pretty much the same. At a very retail level where we see activity on debit cards, so you go out and use your debit card at a merchant or a shop of sorts, no change whatsoever. But you are seeing larger organisations who are making very big investments just pausing and just saying, let's just see what happens here before we make that very big investment decision.
How crucial is it in your view that the UK remains part of the EU single market?
Well, we are a big trading partner with the EU, so whatever the arrangements, both sides will want to stay very close to each other. Now, what those final discussions and negotiations are, I think we won't see for probably a year to 2 years. But I think staying very close to Europe is important for the UK, but it's also important for Europe.
You've sent a letter to business customers warning that they might get charged to deposit money. When do you anticipate that might have to come in? At the moment, it's just the status of a warning, isn't it?
Well, what we did was realigned our terms and conditions to actually meet up with most other banks that gives you the ability to go into negative interest rates should the interest rates go there. I was delighted yesterday when Governor Carney said he did not see negative interest rates coming into this economy, which I think is really good.
The new Prime Minister has promised to curb boardroom excess. Has she had a word with you about your pay recently?
No, we haven't had any conversations on that. But I think it's something that does need to be addressed, having a look at pay going forward.
You'll address your pay?
Well, we are some of the lower payers in the industry, so and I think if you have a look at what's happened with the Royal Bank of Scotland, our bonus pools have been cut significantly over the last 5 to 10 years, and we understand the obligations that we do have.
Ross McEwan, thank you very much.
Thank you.